I noticed that Guardian is probably like the most popular among streamers, and then the same thing with Necro. Necro is a lot of fun, which let's take a look. Let's see, we got Mighty Teapot. He's just doing a podcast, it looks like. Okay, we got a Ranger here. I can see it from there. This is a Warrior. That's a Thief. Okay, we got versatility here. I don't know what that is. That looks... I don't know what this is. Let me see. Oh, he's playing Engineer. Engineers are rare. I rarely see Engineers. I mained Engineer for a while because I saw that. So I was trying to understand why people didn't like it or whatever. Let's see what she's playing. Necro. She's playing a Necromancer. She looks like a Necromancer. Here's a Mesmer. Here's another Mesmer. Here's a third Mesmer. Damn. Mesmer's up the ass. Alright, it looks pretty diverse today on Twitch. It's pretty diverse. But usually I see a lot of like Guardian, Necro, and Mesmer. Those are the three that are like the top. I don't see Revenants like ever. And that's why I love my Revenant, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why don't people play Revenant? And I think it has a lot to do with PvP. Which, let's see what like the tier lists look like. Like if you look up best class. Engineer. Engineer? Oh my god, what the fuck? That's random. It's like somebody just like bumped that up. Profession, characters. So Guardian, the top one. Look, and it's not by much behind Warrior. And then Necromancer. Because like it seems like for the most part when people come into a new MMO, they automatically assume a character that's named Guardian or Warrior or like a tank class, you know? So they automatically assume that it's going to be the strongest because it could be able to take all the damage and, you know, be like really hard to kill. Like that's basically the concept. People are still kind of leaning towards doing that though, like making their own like Trinity basically in Guild Wars 2, even though it doesn't work like that. Necro is very, very tanky, and probably like from what my experience of Necro, like it's super strong. Ranger I couldn't get into, but that's another popular one. Mainly like I like it has good range, you know, it does what its name is. But I feel like survivability wise it kind of falls flat. There's not really a whole lot of like things to like escape and to kind of like survive a battle, especially in PvP. You get jumped, you're done. GG, like it's over. Mesmer, that's another nice one that has a lot of good escapes. Like you can make decoys all over the place. You confuse the shit out of people. Even in PvP you can confuse the shit out of people and they start attacking clones. I'm guilty of that too, where I start attacking clones and I'm like, fuck, like that was a clone, you know? Elementalist, I just started getting into it. I'm still trying to level to 80. I'm like 70 something, but I'm actually pretty happy with it. It's nice. It has good survivability. Like it's not the best survivability in the world, but it definitely has some good evasion stuff. You have like, when you swap between like the different elements, you got a bunch of different escapes and you know, like ways to kind of like combo the stuff together. So it's a lot of fun to kind of mess around with that. But it feels a lot more complex than the other classes, because the other classes are very straightforward. You know, just 1 through 5 and maybe swap a weapon once, you know what I mean? Whereas Elementalist, you're swapping between basically essentially like 4 or 5 different weapons in a way, because you got all the different like elements to mess around with. So it's pretty cool. Like it feels diverse, but it can be kind of complicated. So like that's the only thing that kind of like bumps it down the list just because of that. But I like Elementalist. It's pretty fun. A Thief is absolute best in my opinion. I love Thief. I've been playing it since beta. Like it's definitely my favorite. Like it's just hands down. Just the survivability is insane. The amount of like invisibility, or ways for you to go invisible. And then like you got like the utility powers that you can also put your team invisible as well as yourself. Like there's so many escapes that Thief has that it just makes it so much fun. So like there's no like it's hard for you to die in PvP, like unless you literally like are not paying attention. It's like that's like the only time you'll die in PvP. Like you really have to be like in some deep shit for you to die, you know? So like it's pretty nice. Like that's why I like Thief a lot. Revenant is a lot of fun. Like I haven't tried it in PvP yet, but in normal PvE, like I feel like it has really awesome survivability, especially with the renegade build. Like when you pull out those little like the little gods or whatever, and then they go and they help you out. A lot of it has leeching, so like you can leech all their health and just kind of heal yourself from that. Like, so that it makes it really good survivability with it. So that's why I like Revenant a lot. And then Engineer has a lot of diversity. It's the same just like Elementalist, where you have like so many different options of like things you can do. So you can even have like a kit to give yourself like a flamethrower and all sorts of other shit. So it's like it's really complicated in that way, but it also leaves like a lot of build options. So it tends to be like really like you have to learn a lot about the Engineer before you can really understand how it works. So that's the main reason why it's kind of low on the tier list, is because like it's tough to play, you know. But it's fun though. Like I like Engineer. Engineer is pretty cool. I think that's all of them. But yeah, I mean, according to this list, is still like, look, profession by playtime and then by character. Like, and this is only 6 months ago, so this is not even that far off. And still, like Guardian and Warrior is like always the top shit. You know, like it's pretty crazy. So like even just judging it off of like Twitch, it looked pretty diverse today, but for the most part I always see a lot of Guardians, Mesmers, and Necros. Like that's like the main three that are like the tops. So I guess for starting, like those are the best three to kind of like play. But when it comes to complexity, which is something that I like to have build diversity and just have a lot of different options. Thief, Engineer, and Revenant is really good, as well as Elementalist. I like Elementalist a lot. So like in the bottom of my tier list, I have Ranger, Mesmer, and Guardian, as well as like Warrior. I don't really play those. Like those are characters that I don't really fuck with. I do want to try to mess with them just to kind of like, you know, figure out on whether or not I could like them. But I lean so much into Thief and Revenant as my tops that it's hard for me to break away from those two in particular. Those are my absolute favorites. Like I love Thief and Revenant. So like whenever I get bored of my Thief for any reason, I'll go hop on my Revenant. Like that's always my fallback. So at the end of the day, this is my tier list. Of course, this is just my opinion. In the S tier, I got the Thief and the Revenant. In the A tier, I have the Elementalist, the Engineer, and the Necro. Necro was my main for a while, so that's why it's up in that list. But I kind of feel like I need to just work on my build, because I just feel like it kind of dropped off since the last time I played it, which was almost like a year ago. So I'm going to have to get back into that. On the B tier, we have the Mesmer. I didn't really spend too much time with the Mesmer. I got it to 80, played it for probably like an hour, and then I got kind of bored of it. So that's why it's just sitting in the middle. It's almost like in limbo. Same thing with the Ranger in the C tier. Got it to 80, played it for probably 30 minutes, and then just gave up on it. Those are two classes I just need to kind of go back and explore a little bit to see if I like them. And then down in the bottom on the D tier, I put Warrior and Guardian, because I spent a lot of time playing these two in the beginning when I first started playing the game. And I always found myself deleting the character to make room for others. So I was very limited on character slots. And the farthest I got with Guardian was level 60 before I deleted it. And then the Warrior, I got it to about level 45-ish. And then I deleted it to make room for like an Elementalist. Then it just kind of like kept dropping off like that. I kept deleting Elementalists over and over for like probably on and off for like 2 years. I feel like it's just really hard for me to focus on any other class besides Thief and Revenant, mainly because I just love the survivability of both of them. And that's why I put them up in the S tier, because it's just, there's so much versatility in their builds. There's so much you can do with it. And that's why I just absolutely love them. I'm trying to figure out if the other classes are anywhere close to more viable, but it's hard for me to play another class, because and then the moment I die, I go, oh, but my Thief could have survived that. You know what I mean? Like, or I go, oh, my Revenant could have survived that. So that's the thing that just really like determines the whole thing on whether or not I love a character. But anyway, that's my list. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and leave in the comments, what is your favorite character? What is your favorite class? But anyway, have a good one. I'll see you guys in the next one.